Ah, there we are. Good morning.
Good morning. We'll give you a minute before we start for everybody to...
Actually, we are not giving you a minute because
Oh.
it is 10 o'clock. We are running late. You'd
All
think
right.
we'd get better at this technology stuff, but
Welcome,
we're still
Bonneville
slow.
County. You have just joined Breakfast with the Cooks.
Yeah, I'm Sherry, and this is my husband, Kevin, who's running for the Idaho State Senate in District 30.
This has been an exciting week. So we wanted to talk to you kind of about the campaign week, what happened and some of the good, bad, the ugly, the highs and the lows. And there's been plenty of it, but it's been a lot of fun. So last Saturday, we started our Honk and Wave campaign, which has been a lot of fun. So we got a bunch of teenagers
And families.
that have got some signs that says honk for Cook or Cook Kevin Cook for Senate, and they went out in the corners and they waved them, and we've made lots and lots of noise. And it's breathed a new life into our campaign with lots of activity and
Oh, they've
excitement.
had
and
so much fun.
it's been a lot of fun.
And it's just fun to see cars on the street again.
Yeah.
It's so fun to come out of Zombieland and see people.
So they're going to be out this weekend. They're going to be out today. So if you see them, honk. Lay down your horn. Let it honk. Okay? That's been good.
I can't find us. I can't find us on live on here to see if there's any questions. All right. So we've had several posts this week with lots of supporters of Kevin. We've had Jake Conrad, who's a local welder in the area.
If you need someone to weld, Jake's your man.
Yeah, he does a great job. And he kind of gave you an endorsement, talked about experience that you had helping his dad on the farm in the rain.
Yeah, it was raining, cold.
We've had Sergeant Brian Lovell, who works for the Bonneville Sheriff's Department, give you a pretty great endorsement. We've had County Commissioner Brian Reed, who's given you a great endorsement. We've had Michelle Ellison, who's pretty active in our community, who gave you a great professional
Yeah, she's wonderful.
endorsement. We've had Tyler Melander, one of your youth that you worked with
he
many,
was in
many
our
years
youth
ago.
program, and just a great young man. So I believe he's been married 1 or 2 years. I think
It's 2 or
it might
3.
be 2 or 3. It goes fast.
I
but
know time goes so
hey,
fast.
he's just a great young man. But it was exciting to see that. But one of the great news that we had this week was that we received endorsement from Idaho Chooses Life. And that is huge. So there was communication back and forth with Idaho Chooses Life between myself and my opponent. And Idaho Chooses Life came together and they voted, and I was the one that chose. They chose me to represent them. They felt like that I represented the ordeal or what they represent as far as pro-life.
And how sacred life is.
Yeah, so I believe that life is sacred, that it starts at conception. And I am just so excited to be able to work closely with Idaho Chooses Life. They're great. I've met David Ripley. He's the director and just unbelievable man and a great story. If you ever get a chance to meet with him, ask him to tell you his story.
We'll
It's
bring
incredible.
you to tears.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kevin is pro-life. I know there's a lot of propaganda out there saying that you're not, and that you're
Yeah.
supported by people who aren't. So it's kind of interesting that you actually got the endorsement for Idaho Chooses Life.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, okay, so the funniest thing that has happened this week.
This was real. This was good because we needed some humor in our lives.
Okay, so last Saturday, we got informed when someone sent us a text message that said we were colluding with the Russians, that Russian bots were sending out text messages telling people to vote for Kevin for the Idaho State Senate.
Yeah, so I promise you, I have not been in communication with President Putin. I have not colluded with the Russians. In fact, I'm pretty sure the Russians aren't real concerned about the state Senate seat in Idaho, but I could be wrong.
Well, and we don't even have access to a way to text people. It's a great idea.
But my opponent now, he does have a text messaging company that is that's owned local, that does support his campaign. And you can go out and read on the Sunshine Report. They have made some donations in kind to his campaign. And also, according to Google, the major stockholder of this company happens to be Doyle Beck. Doyle Beck is 110% supportive of my opponent. And so Draw your own conclusions there. But we don't have anything going with text messaging. We just don't. There's nothing in our campaign about text messaging. So,
But you know what? Interestingly enough, there have been a lot of texts going out to District 30, that aren't from us, that kind of poke fun at you a little bit.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that
That's
take things out of
interesting.
context. But what I like about that text is that you don't have all the answers, and you tell them, look, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. And I think that's great because he doesn't. And he shouldn't. He meets with all of you, and together, you guys figure it out. You don't want someone with all the answers every time. You've got to research and learn.
That's part of the fun that I've had in this campaign is getting to know everybody, to go and talk with them and meet with them and figure out what their issues are and how they would like to see it resolved. And so that's been interesting to be able to do that.
Yeah, it has. But you have gotten popular with Post-Register and East Idaho News contacting you regarding our
Russian
our
bots.
Russian bots that are texting.
So both East Idaho News and the Post-Register have called and asked me and quizzed me over and over again in different ways of trying to see if I really knew President Putin or not. And I don't. All right.
All right, we need to move on. All right. So we've had questions asking if Kevin is a real Idaho boy. Because, he wasn't born here in Idaho. He was born in Utah. So are you a real Idaho spud?
I am a real Idaho spud boy. We moved here in 1999, 21 years ago. We moved to Bonneville County, and we have lived in Bonneville County for 21 years. This is our home. Our kids went to elementary school with great teachers.
Oh, yeah. Super great teachers. In fact, those teachers that taught our kids in school are some of our biggest supporters and are helping us now. We've got great relationships with the teachers who've taught our kids.
We do.
Yeah, but it's interesting because you've actually lived in Bonneville County longer than your opponent has.
Yes, I have.
By about 10 years,
About
I think.
10 or 11 years.
I don't
longer.
know. You guys need to look that up. We don't know. We just know we've been here longer, and he is a true Idaho spud.
Love potatoes. Idaho potatoes.
Well, we like food. It's part of this COVID problem.
Okay. Well, the other thing that happened this week is my opponent ripped on me because I was a federal worker or an INL worker. And in fact, let me just tell you what he read, and it's kind of disturbing. He said the only jobs that are safe are our federal employees, like my opponent's job. Well, that might be true, but I know there's a lot of nurses and doctors and policemen and firemen and a lot of other people
Grocery
that are
store
out there
workers,
working to
restaurant workers.
to keep us going. And so I was a little disturbing that he threw us under the bus.
Hundreds of people are out there.
Plus, the INL is a major contributor to the economics here in Idaho.
Yeah,
and
it's
so,
like one of the main contributors.
So I was a little disturbed about that. I didn't like that. The other thing is he says, well, because I'm a federal worker, then he's the one that should be the one representing us in Boise. Again, I would just remind you that I've ran and owned and operated my own small business. I know what it means to make payroll and the stress that comes with that. I know what it means when you have some of the workers that you work with and you need to find the next job to keep them gainfully employed. There is some stress in that, and I have been there, and I have done that. And I believe I have the knowledge, the experience to be able to go to Boise and represent you, Bonneville County, as small business owners and as INL employees as well.
And as doctors and nurses and medical personnel and ambulance drivers. And we could spend the next hours and hours and hours naming each and every one of you. Kevin will truly represent each and every one of you here in Bonneville County. So, people have been asking us this week what it's like to run a campaign.
Boy, oh boy, we could go on for an hour about that.
Or longer. Jeez.
But it's been a learning experience. And as we started off, we said there's been some highs and some lows. But I tell you what, when Dean Mortimer, Senator Mortimer, announced that he was not going to run for elections again, I said, Sherry, we need to talk about this. And we talked and talked, and we had pillow talks. It wasn't morning talks because she doesn't wake up in the morning.
Well,
She's
good
not a morning
grief. He
person.
wakes up at 4 in the morning and wants to talk with me. Hello.
But we did talk about it, and then I worked with my employer to see if that was a
Yeah,
possibility.
but even with that, I was like, why do you want to do that? You're such a good guy. Why would you do that to yourself? And I was really quite humbled with what he said. He said, one person can make a difference. We complain about the government, and yet we don't do anything about it. I know that I can make a difference, and I want to show my kids that if you believe in something, that you need to take a stand. So once he told me that, I kind of had to repent and jump on the wagon, because I'm not a political type person. This is very out of my comfort zone. Very out of my comfort zone. But
she's a real trooper, though. She has done so much. It's just incredible amount of work she's done.
well, we've had a lot of people that have jumped on
Yeah.
board and supported us. And let me just thank you again so much for helping with this endeavor. But anyway, I'm getting off topic.
So
we
after we talked
and
and decided
talked.
that we could do this, and I looked at my job and my service job up in BYU, I made sure that they were okay. After that was all clear, we sat down with the kids. And we says, guys, this is going to involve the whole family. Are you on board? And so we talked for a while about it, and then they all said, yes, we'll support you, Dad. And so I went out and got me a campaign manager, Jeff Townsend. And from that point, he never stopped. He has just been go, go, go the whole way and pushing us to
I need
keep
some
us
of
going.
your energy, Jeff.
He just, happy birthday, Jeff. He turned 55. We'll let it out of the bag, but turned 55 yesterday. So wish him a happy birthday there. And then we just went and we thought that we could do this ourselves with Jeff's help. And so I was busy meeting all these people. And as a software developer, you think I would be doing our website?
Oh, no.
No.
That was me.
Sherry.
That was me.
Sherry, the dental hygienist.
Yeah.
Went and did the website.
And realtor.
And
Also
the-
real estate
yeah,
agent.
And the Facebook. And so she went and did all that. And
Well,
I
in the
continued.
beginning, and then we smartened up and we
Yeah.
hired our neighbor, Raphael, and he has done a phenomenal job with our graphics and our website and all of our amazing flyers. In fact, some of you probably haven't even seen our flyers. I will get those posted because he truly has done a phenomenal job.
It's just been an incredible trip. And sometime, a person at work suggested, said, Kevin, you should write a blog on this campaign. And someday we ought to do that because it has been interesting. It's been fun. And
Lots of highs and lots of lows.
We've tried our hardest to stay positive, and we're not perfect. We've dipped a few times, but
We
we've
have
tried.
dipped a few times, but
We've tried.
yeah, we really have tried.
But it's been good, and I would encourage you, anyone out there, to get involved. It's tough.
It's scary.
It's scary, but it's good. It's a good thing to do to get into politics and get into the American way and do your civic duty. And so we're excited to be a part of that, and we hope and pray that we get a chance to go back to Boise and to represent you.
Yeah, and if you do get involved, really do include your family, your spouse, because it is hard, and it's hard as a wife to sit and watch all these mistruths and lies and misrepresentation of a man that I love. And anyone that knows Kevin knows he has like the most integrity of anyone I know, and he sees the good in others more so. I do pretty good. But 1 week out of every month, not so much. And I tease people that I keep him on the earth, that he would not be on the earth if it wasn't for me.
All right.
Anyway, I know I'm getting off a
We're
soapbox
out
on
of
how
time.
amazing.
We are out of time. And we want you to enjoy your Saturday. But guys, you've been with Breakfast with the Cooks. We're here every Saturday, 10 a.m.
Come find us. We're going to be on a street corner
Yes,
somewhere
we'll be on
near
a street
you.
corner.
Come honk at us.
Honk at us. And join us. Join the movement. And together, we will put Idaho first.
Hey,
Thank
thanks.
you. Thanks for all your help.